My name is Alexis Smith, and I am doing my theory presentation over Piaget's cognitive stage theory. So the biological historical background is he was born in 1896 in Switzerland. He had a lot of conflict growing up with his religious and science teaching as he started getting older and going to school and things. His parents had a tough relationship. His dad was pretty harsh growing up. He did not go to school originally. He did not go to school originally for psychoanalytic theory, but he became really obsessed with it and started studying children. He won the Distinguished Scientific Contribution Award for his perspective on the nature of human development and human knowledge and biological intelligence. General overview of the theory of Piaget is that he believed that children's thinking was systematic, so it's based in structuralism. So basically a small set of mental operations form structure that underlies much of our thinking. Structure changes as we develop. So Piaget also was fascinated with how humans understood the world. He was an experimental epistemologist. He wanted to know why and how we come to know something. He used testable hypothesis, and he came up with the fact that people are constructors of their own knowledge. They actively select and interpret information in the environment. So with his systematic and structuralism viewpoint, he created schemes and stages that go hand in hand. So there's a lot of different schemes within these stages, which are in periods. So there is 4 periods. The sensory motor period, which is birth to 2 years, pre-operational period, which is 2 to 7, concrete operational, which is 7 to 11 years, and formal operation, which is 11 to 15 years old. Within these 4 periods, you have 8 stages, and with each stage, they build on each other. You can't just go through one and skip any of them. You have to kind of conquer each stage before you can move on. They follow in an invariant sequence. Stages are universal, and each stage includes a coming into being and a being. So the methodology of his theory is observation. He did a lot of observation of his own children, especially when they were infants. Him and his wife kept diaries. Then he started observing children in preschools, and he would also use a clinical method where it was a chain-like verbal reaction between the experimenter and the child. So he would talk and question the children to try to get a good understanding of their reasoning. The mechanisms of development, it's driven by functional variants, which would be organization, adaptation, and equilibrium that operate throughout development. Cognitive organization, it's a tendency for thought to consist of systems whose parts are integrated to form a whole. Cognitive adaptation, which is a fit between the mind and the environment. Within that, you've got assimilation and accommodation. Assimilation is the process of fitting reality into one's current cognitive organization, and accommodation is the adjustments in cognitive organization that results when reality does not fit our expectation. When both of those are in balance, you're going to get cognitive equilibration. Okay, position on developmental issues. For human nature, the worldview is organismic instead of mechanistic. Parts can only be understood in terms of a whole. With qualitative and quantitative, he really emphasized qualitative changes in other structures or in structures, and they believe that they both built on each other. With nature versus nurture, he had a 4-factor formula for development, both nature and nurture. With the 4-factor formula for development, that is physical maturation, logico-mathematical experiences, social experiences, and equilibrium. Some common applications of his theory is educators use it a lot in instruction. I myself as a teacher use a lot of it. Children can profit from instruction only if they are cognitively ready. Teaching should be taught in a sequence of developmental steps. Learning is most likely to occur when children actively participate. So there's that learning through play piece, especially for the littles. So some strengths of his theory is recognizes the central role of cognition, discovered surprising features of children's thinking, had a wide scope and ecological validity. However, it had quite a few weaknesses. Its inadequate support for the stages, inadequate account of mechanisms of development, the need for theory of performance, slighting of social and emotional aspects of development, underestimation of abilities, and methodological and systematic barriers. Lastly, we have our references where I used our textbook from Miller on the theories of developmental psychology, and that is it for my presentation on Piaget's cognitive stage theory.